Board says offers went up over the weekend on the dark web to sell information to tens of millions of T-Mobile customers. It reportedly includes names, addresses, social security numbers, and your cell phone information. And if you want to burn through about 400 calories, you got a choice to make. Play video games for about 2 hours or do 1,000 sit-ups. Researchers have found the two are just about equal, at least when it comes to the total calories burned. And the study says women who play games go through about 12% more calories than guys. This is ABC News.
O'Reilly. Syntec is back and better than ever at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Syntec is a premium full synthetic motor oil at an affordable price. Right now, get 5 quarts of Syntec full synthetic and a Wix filter for just $31.99. Plus, earn double O rewards points. Minimize friction, heat, and wear on your engine with Syntec full synthetic motor oil exclusively at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
I'm Sherry Preston, ABC News.
I'm Dave James on the Ohio News Network. The Ohio Department of Job and Family Services is debunking misinformation on social media that says Ohioans can still collect unemployment benefits if they're fired for refusing to receive a COVID-19 vaccine. Lindsay Mills with ONN affiliate WBNS TV in Columbus has more.
According to an ODJFS spokesman, in Ohio, unemployment insurance is available for people who are unemployed due to no fault of their own. In general, if you were to voluntarily leave a job, then you are not eligible for unemployment. Each application for unemployment is reviewed to determine eligibility based on the specific details. According to ODJFS, someone who was terminated for cause, violation of company policy, for example, would not be eligible for unemployment insurance. In Columbus, Lindsay Mills.
The Ohio Department of Health says COVID-19 cases continue to climb.
We saw more than 1,800 new cases. That's our highest number of cases on a Monday in 4 months. We're averaging more than 2,000 new cases a day. More than half of Ohioans have received at least one shot, and nearly 47% are now considered fully vaccinated. I'm Andrew Kinsey.
The CDC says 85 of Ohio's 88 counties are now listed as high transmission areas of the coronavirus. The only counties not in that category, Hancock in northwest Ohio, Ashtabula in northeast Ohio, and Athens in southeast Ohio. I'm Dave James on the Ohio News Network.
Calls and conversations continue in less than 3 minutes as the Watchdog Morning Show with Howard Monroe continues after this.
For all of your IT needs, visit OmniPerforms.com. Omni Strategic Technologies, the only IT company that the Watchdog trusts.
Toyota's national sales event is happening now with savings and reliability you can count on. So check out an adventure-ready gas model RAV4 with up to $750 cash back, or a stylish 22 Corolla with up to $500 cash back, or go with a sporty Camry with up to $1,000 cash back. Visit buyatoyota.com and find a dealer near you. You can take cash back or apply to a down payment. Offers may vary for hybrid models. See your dealer for details. Offers end September 7th. Toyota, let's go places.
The possibility of lung cancer can be pretty scary, especially if you're one of approximately 8 million current or former smokers at high risk. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know that now there's a breakthrough low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early, and it only takes 60 seconds. You stop smoking, now start screening. For an easy quiz to see if you're eligible, visit SaveByTheScan.org. It could save your life. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
Oh, there's something so real about living local, and I know without a doubt I'm not alone. And I love living local. There's nowhere else I'd rather be. Said I love living local. WTRF is working for me. The Ohio Valley is where I love to be.
Plumbers and Steam Fitters Local 83 want to thank the owners and contractors of the Ohio Valley for using their locally trained workers to help build for the future. Local 83 helps design, fabricate, and build the gas infrastructure for the oil and gas industry here in the Ohio Valley. Plumbers and Steam Fitters Local 83 is 300 members strong and growing. They also do residential, commercial, and industrial work on both sides of the river. For more information, call Plumbers and Steam Fitters Local 83 at 304-233-4445.
Who wants craft beer? Saturday, August 21st, the Mountaineer Brewfest is back at Wheeling Heritage Port, showcasing craft beers from West Virginia's finest brewers. With great food, live entertainment, and many more craft beer selections in our beer garden. It's a wild and wonderful time, and you don't want to miss out. Proceeds benefit a Special Wish Foundation. Get your tickets now at MountaineerBrewFest.com. Brought to you by Wheeling Island Hotel, Casino, Racetrack, and the UPS Store.
Hello, everyone. From the Watchdog, I'm the Storm Tracker, Darnell Foster. With a look at your local weather forecast for your Tuesday. Times of clouds and sunshine with a few scattered thunderstorms. Daytime highs in the mid-70s. Overnight low down to about 65 degrees. Mostly cloudy with showers through the overnight. Showers on and off through your Wednesday. Otherwise, mostly cloudy. Temperatures near 78 degrees. Have yourself a great day, everyone. From the Watchdog, I'm Darnell Foster.
The views and opinions expressed on the following program are not necessarily those of this station or its sponsors.
All right, listen up, you guys. Morning. It's Tuesday.
Today is Tuesday. I am loving the sound of your voice.
Good morning, sunshine.
Crank up the radio.
You all ready for the big show?
Happy Tuesday, everybody.
And action. Okay, let's do it. Hey, guys. You ready to let the dogs out?
All right, let's do this.
Yes, we are ready to let the dogs out.
Well, what are we waiting for?
It's showtime.
The Valley is nearing a return to normal, and we're celebrating with the 100 days of summer. This is the Watchdog Morning Show with Howard Monroe.
Well, we've let the dogs out, and they are barking, and we are going to be barking all morning long. Looking for some rain showers and storms again this morning, and then again this afternoon. So it's going to be a rainy day all day long, including possibly a stormy day. Going to be another muggy day. It was really muggy yesterday. It just felt going to be up to around 76 for the predicted high. Not that bad, except it's going to be muggy and raining. Currently 71 degrees, cloudy at the Wheeling, Ohio County Airport. 69 degrees, cloudy here at my home studios in the Elm Grove section of Wheeling. And 70 at the Robinson Auto Group Studios downtown Wheeling in the heart of the Ohio Valley. Biff, did you hear that story on ABC a minute ago about video games being good exercise for you?
Yes, I did.
That doesn't make any sense to me. I play video games almost every day, Super Mario Brothers and a few other odds and ends with Teddy. He likes to play, and I play with him. I play poorly, but I play with him. And when I was a kid, I played video games with my kids as well. Apparently, I don't buy this. Video gaming is the same as doing sit-ups, according to a new study that's out. Now, let's keep in mind this was done by a gaming company, all right? So that tells you something right there. Stakester, I've never heard of it, but okay. Stakester did a new study, And they say that 2 hours of video gaming burn the same number of calories as 1,000 sit-ups. Now, do you believe that, Biff?
Not for a minute.
I know. Look, I can video game. I mean, I can sit there and play. I don't do it well. I don't win the levels and stuff, but I can play video games for hours with Teddy. I can't do a sit-up. I mean, come on. Playing 2 hours of video games is the same as doing 1,000 sit-ups. The founder of the company, Tom Farley, said he knew an increased heart rate and gaming sweats would burn calories, but he didn't know how much calories they would burn. Men burn a little fewer calories than women. Women get better exercise value out of gaming than men do, according to this study. They took 50 volunteer gamers, hooked them up to smart devices that track their heart rate and their energy consumption and all of that. Then they played video games, among them Call of Duty. They played video games for 2 hours, and then another group performed sit-ups. And then results showed how much calories were burned, and it turns out that you burn as many calories playing video games as you do doing 1,000 sit-ups. Now, that's the study. My job is to present information to you, and I have presented that information. My secondary job is to offer opinion to you. And here is my opinion. Bull crap! That's just... I'm sorry. I heard that story. I was like, no, this... I know what you're going to say. You're going to say, well, Howard, you tell us we should believe about the vaccine, we should believe science, we should believe research. Howard, you're always giving us poll information and poll numbers. Why don't you believe this? Sometimes you just got to use, I don't know, what is it, Biffy? Common sense?
Yeah, that'll work.
Yeah, I mean, just something isn't right. But listen, pal, if you want to... lose some weight, not that you need to. I do, not that you need to. But if you want to lose some weight, just you can go out and do 1,000 sit-ups, or just get yourself a video game. I wonder if Pong works. No, probably not. Probably not. Before I get to especially the serious stuff, and this story is a serious story, but before I get to the hard news of the day, Biff, you probably saw this story, and probably like me, you put it in the what in God's name is our world coming to story today. Story out of the Youngstown area of Ohio. And an Ohio woman was cut off by a car, and this is like road rage carried to the highest exponential amount. Ohio woman in Mahoning County says she was cut off while she was driving in traffic. The woman who cut her off got out of her car, dragged this woman out of her car, and beat her with a hammer in the middle of the street in front of her children. And then the woman who did the beating with the hammer, she then went on Facebook and bragged about how she did it. The levels of stupidity here are just unbelievable, Biff. Just unbelievable. And nowhere in the story that I have does it tell me what prompted this, what it was that prompted this one woman to cut off the other lady in traffic and then to attack her with a hammer. You have to assume, I guess, there must have been something personal going on there. Surely she just didn't pick a random stranger.
I would say either something personal or something happened maybe before wherever they met. The lady may have honked a horn at her for something, and that was enough to set her off to the point where she she caught up with the woman and beat her with a hammer. But other than that, those would be my two best guesses.
You don't just I think you're right. Surely they must have had a run in or something. You don't just out of nowhere cut off somebody in traffic, pull them out of their car, and beat them with a hammer. And to make matters worse, the woman's two children were in the car at the same, watching this whole thing happen. A female passenger in one of the cars went to the back of the victim's car, tried to take the kids out, tried to get them out of the scene. And the woman with the hammer took the victim's keys and then left the scene of the crime. Needless to say, police were called. When police came, they were told that the woman who had the hammer, she'd already gone on Facebook and posted about what she had done. So she was, something is terribly mentally deranged with anybody who will take a hammer and beat somebody else, no matter what the provocation. But B, how thoroughly, totally, completely, absolutely stupid do you have to be to, having done that, then go and post it on Facebook? I mean, stupidity is unbelievable. Just unbelievable. And the woman's been arrested, obviously, and she'll face charges and so on. The woman beaten with a hammer, she suffered a number of injuries. She's in the hospital, but she is alive. I saw that story yesterday afternoon, and I thought to myself, what in the world are we coming to, Biff? What in the world are we coming to? This is not happening on every street corner. I'm not saying but it's happening a lot. I guess it falls under the broad category of road rage. I know I told you I preached on this in Dillonvale a couple of weeks ago. Actually in Barnesville a couple of weeks ago. I call it the anger among us. We are such an angry society anymore. Politics is where we see it the most. We see it on cable TV. We see it in the debates on Capitol Hill. The anger, it's there. We saw it in the insurrection. Best example of the anger there. But little incidents like this, it transcends politics. It goes into a woman pulls another woman out of a car in the middle of a highway and beats her with a hammer. I have no answer to my question. But my question is, what in the world are we coming to? And as Forrest Gump said, that's all I'm going to say about that. All right, 7:19, 19 after the hour here on the Watchdog Morning Show. Where are we going on the serious side of life today? Well, President Biden defended his timetable for pulling troops out of Afghanistan as that scramble to evacuate the country continues. We're going to hear in a minute or two some of what he had to say. Our national correspondent, Tom Squinieri, and I will spend a good bit of time discussing how did we get to where we are in Afghanistan and what might be next for that country. Governor Justice continues his dire warnings about the rising COVID numbers, but he also continues his decision to take no mandatory actions. He says he's trying to make the anti-vaxxers and anti-maskers happy. I would ask the question, why? The Biden administration reportedly ready now to recommend that all Americans get a booster vaccine. We'll tell you about what's likely to come down the pike on that today. Continuing population loss in the Mountain State. It concerns Governor Justice. He talked about it yesterday. But Wheeling's mayor finds some glimmer of hope as he looks into those population numbers in the friendly city. And he will be with us to explain that. A shale industry publication says it does not believe the Eastern Ohio cracker plant will ever be built. In fact, the Marcellus Drilling publication says, and this is close to a quote, referring to PTT, the people putting the plant in, they lied. I want to share some of what they are reporting about this a little bit later on this morning here on the Watchdog Morning Show. So that's what I have to offer you this morning. That's where I'm going to take us over the course of the next several hours. If you want to add to any of those issues, your thoughts and opinions, feel free to do so at 304-214-1600, 304-214-1600. That is the Watchdog Radio Network text line. You can also use the CityNet hotline at 304-232-8255, 304-232-TALK. If you would like to share your thoughts with us on that. 7:21, we'll head to Afghanistan. That's coming up next here on the Watchdog Morning Show. 71, cloudy at the airport, 69, cloudy here at my home studios in Elm Grove, and 70 at the Robinson Auto Group Studios downtown Wheeling in the heart of the Ohio Valley. Biff, I'm going to use Biden audio in the next segment from Pulse. I think if you're looking at the same numbers I am or the same list I am, I'm going to use 1, 3, and 4. The truth is, concerns about why we didn't begin, and I will not mislead the American people. If you can find this.
Of up to $25 may be available to those living on federally recognized tribal lands where AT&T offers Lifeline. To find out more about Lifeline and other AT&T products and services, call us at 800-288-2020 or go to att.com/lifeline if you have access to the internet.
Lifeline is a government benefit program, and willfully making false statements to obtain this benefit is punishable by fine or imprisonment and could result in termination of Lifeline service. Lifeline enrollment requires certain eligibility documentation and is non-transferable. Limited to 1 discount per household. AT&T services, including Lifeline, are not available in all areas. Other restrictions apply.
Dominating both AM and FM, the Watchdog is AM 1600 and 1370, FM 98.1 and 97.7. We are the Watchdog.
We're on air, online, on video, and on demand. Find us where you like us. This is the Watchdog Morning Show with Howard Monroe.
Top of the morning this morning, obviously, is the story out of Afghanistan. The evacuations continue. The scenes that we've seen from there of American citizens and Afghans running, trying to literally jump on the planes to get out of Kabul after the Taliban overran it. It's not a pretty sight. It's a horrible sight. It certainly is reminiscent of. Some who were around at the time say it is worse than the fall of Saigon at the end of the Vietnam War, and that was pretty bad. I remember those videos and so on as well. President Biden yesterday spoke from the White House and talked about the situation in Afghanistan. He stood by his decision to withdraw from the country, although he acknowledged that the scenes of the Taliban, or the scenes of the people trying to escape the Taliban, are gut-wrenching. He also agreed that things seemed to move a lot faster than he had expected. In his speech, Biden admitted the Taliban had taken over Afghanistan much faster than he had thought.
The truth is, this did unfold more quickly than we had anticipated. So what's happened? Afghanistan political leaders gave up and fled the country. The Afghan military collapsed, sometime without trying to fight. American troops cannot and should not be fighting in a war and dying in a war that Afghan forces are not willing to fight for themselves.
It certainly sounds like blame shifting. I get that. It also is honest and realistic. The truth of the matter is, we've done this for 20 years now, trying to get the Afghan government in place and the Afghan military properly trained. And when we said, well, okay, we're not going to do it for you forever, we're going to train you to do it, they fell apart. Now, it's a horrible thing. It's a horrible thing. But it is what happened. And yes, the president, I think the president did the best he could in saying, hey, it is my responsibility, but here's where we fell down. We just didn't expect them to fall so quickly. I find it interesting that I saw numerous critics saying that, well, the reports have said that the Taliban wouldn't overrun the capital for another couple of weeks. Okay, so we were wrong. I mean, let's be clear about that. That information was wrong, that intelligence was wrong. But what's the point of that? We would have, if we'd waited 2 more weeks. I mean, I don't fully get it. Biden said he stood behind his decision to complete the withdrawal of troops that President Trump had begun. Trump began it last year. And Biden said it's time for the 2-decade-old war to end. And I think that's probably, I think the American people probably, when they get past the scenes of the horror of these Afghan citizens and Americans trying to escape and evacuate, will probably say, you know, we're glad. I saw several reports yesterday. The Big Seven had Ryan Weld sort of asking, well, what did we do it all for? And Mac Warner was on with Hoppy yesterday. Well, why did we do this? My colleagues who were there, what did we do it for? And I think that's a great question. That's a great question. We went into Afghanistan with no end game under George Bush. We continued just sort of lollygagging around under the Clinton administration and the Obama administration as well. No question about it. We just sort of kept on keeping on with our troops there, hoping what? We never had an end game. The only end game that it seemed to me that we ever had, and I agreed with going into Afghanistan. I agreed with going into Afghanistan because that was where Al-Qaeda was holed up and where they were supporting Osama bin Laden, and he is the one that created the plan for the attack on the World Trade Centers. Go get him. I was 1,000% behind that. Not going into Iraq, that was frivolous, that was ridiculous. But going to get bin Laden and going to secure Al-Qaeda, that made some sense. Once bin Laden was caught and out of the game, at the bottom of the sea, our mission there was over. Can we go around the world and try to believe we can solve civil wars? And I'm not doing this because I'm trying to defend Joe Biden. I'm doing this because we have had a failed policy there forever. What did my colleagues die for? I don't know. I don't even know why we were there. I mean, we can argue logistically, and then maybe we should. And again, the question of whether or not Biden properly evacuated, properly laid the groundwork for this withdrawal is a fair discussion to have. But at some point, we've got to come out. And the president acknowledged that yesterday. He says he's aware that maybe we should have gotten things started sooner.
I know there were concerns about why we did not begin evacuating Afghans, civilians sooner. Part of the answer is some of the Afghans did not want to leave earlier, still hopeful for their country. And part of it because the Afghan government and its supporters discouraged us from organizing a mass exodus to avoid triggering, as they said, a crisis of confidence.
And as I said, a lot of folks were saying yesterday, well, the intelligence was telling us that the Taliban would not have overrun Kabul for another few weeks. Okay, but would a little more time have done anything? The president yesterday said no.
I was asked to authorize, and I did, 6,000 U.S. troops to deploy to Afghanistan for the purpose of assisting in the departure of U.S. and allied civilian personnel from Afghanistan, and to evacuate our Afghan allies and vulnerable Afghans to safety outside of Afghanistan.
And he went on to say, I will not mislead the American people by claiming a little more time would have made the difference. And I think he's right about that. So this is a horrific situation. Nobody thinks it's a good situation. I think the president probably has accurately portrayed what happened, which is the Afghan military simply lost its own morale and confidence. They didn't fight back as hard as they could have, as should have, maybe as hard as we thought they would. The Taliban was stronger than we had anticipated. But ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, this is not a political issue. This is not a Democrat-Republican issue, because Democrats and Republicans for 20 years have continued to just leave our troops there with no end game, with no conclusion to the mission in sight. In a country where I don't think you're ever going to stop having a civil war. So Joe Biden is the guy who pulled the plug, and that led to a bad situation. But how will history judge that in the end? Is it better to have brought this useless war to an end after 20 years? Or should we have just kept on keeping on? More troops, more deaths, more activity in Afghanistan, trying somehow after 20 years to still continue to build some sort of, I don't know what the word to use is, not a coalition, some sort of better, I don't know. I'm as discouraged and distressed as everybody else, but I don't know that the president, he may have erred in his timing, but the timing error seems to only be a matter of weeks. Everybody's admitting that. It's just whenever we pulled out our troops, it looked like the Taliban was going to, after 20 years, we had not prepared the country, or the country had not accepted our help adequately enough to be prepared on their own, to take care of their own country, to maintain their own government, and to fortify their own capital city. And now we are where we are. Tom Squitieri and I will talk more about this coming up in the 8 o'clock hour. Tom is our national correspondent. He works out of the Pentagon, and we'll see what the Pentagon officials are saying, and where does Afghanistan go from here? What's coming up next? We'll talk about that with Tom a bit later on. In the next half hour, we've got COVID to talk about. We'll get into that. Before we do that, we'll talk to Zach about the forecast. Short version, rainy again. Right now, let's head to the news desk of the Big 7, WTRF TV, for some headlines, and then we'll check in with Billy D., our morning sports report. We are the Watchdog Morning Show here on the Watchdog, WKKX and WVOY, AM and FM.
The WTRF Channel 7 News Update is brought to you by Thomas Auto Centers, Mall Road, St. Clairsville. Get the best deal at Thomas Auto Centers.
Now it's time for your local.
Preparedness for all 55 counties. This allows the state to use all necessary resources to reduce the risk of potential flooding and storm damage. As of right now, no watches or warnings have been issued for the Ohio Valley. Taking a look at the latest COVID numbers, West Virginia is seeing a big spike in new cases. More than 1,400 have been reported since last Friday, and active cases are nearing 6,000. That's the highest it's been since mid-May. On the other hand, 70% of all eligible West Virginians now have at least their first dose. Governor Justice continues to say there is no need for a mask mandate at this time. Back here at home, 20 of those new cases were confirmed right here in Ohio County. The health department is calling this a blossoming of cases. Administrator Howard Gamble says they are now getting reports of people in the ER needing treatment. That goes beyond simply staying at home. Gamble says only a couple cases are vaccinated individuals, but the majority are not. There's plenty of upcoming opportunities to get vaccinated if you live in Tyler or Wetzel County. You can also get your flu shot at these clinics if you haven't done so already. Walk-in clinics begin next Thursday at the health department. That was a look at your headlines. Have a great rest of your day, everyone.
In Los Angeles, the Dodgers edged the Pirates 2-1 on home runs by Max Muncy and Billy McKinney. Let's hear from Pirates skipper Derek Shelton.
Yeah, I mean, we just missed locations with fastballs, and we did a good job keeping a really good lineup off balance all day long, and then we ended up missing in the middle of the plate, missed location both times, and that ended up being the difference in the game.
By the way, in the loss to L.A., the Pirates stranded 10 runners. The Dodgers, they love beating up against the Pirates. They have won 14 in a row over Pittsburgh, 11 in a row at home. Since 2017, the two teams have played 23 games. L.A., 20-2 against the Buccos. Ouch. Well, NBC Sports Chicago is reporting today that the Cincinnati Reds and the Chicago Cubs will play in the 2022 Field of Dreams game in Iowa. A Steeler note, newly acquired linebacker, former Cleveland Brown linebacker Joe Schobert, is taking first-team reps during Pittsburgh Steelers training camp. Let's hear from his head coach, Mike Tomlin.
You know, we're just trying to teach as much as we can, and the best way to teach is get them in competitive situations.
Saturday, the Pittsburgh Steelers will host the Detroit Lions in a preseason game. My guest coming up in the 12:35 segment of the variety show, Sean Gibson. You may have heard of his great-grandfather, Josh Gibson. I'm Bill DeFabio on sports, and we are the Watchdog.
Introducing our new redesigned 7 News app. Our new app features a sleek, modern design, an easy-to-navigate home screen with quick access to local news content and a localized weather forecast. Subscribing to notifications is easier, and with one tab, you have access to recent push notifications. There are more ways to watch and find video. To get the new WTRF 7 News app, just update the latest version or download the WTRF 7 News app in your Apple or Google Play Store by searching WTRF.
Toyota's national sales event is happening now with savings and reliability you can count on. So check out an adventure-ready gas model RAV4 or a spacious Highlander that seats up to 8, both with up to $750 cash back, or an all-wheel drive Venza hybrid, now with $1,000 cash back. Visit buyatoyota.com for more great deals. You can take cash back or apply toward down payment. Offers may vary for hybrid models. See your dealer for details. Offers end September 7th. Toyota, let's go places.
I'm Andrew Saul, Commissioner of Social Security. Beware of telephone scammers pretending to be government employees. Real Social Security employees will never threaten you. Callers threatening you with arrest or other legal action and demanding money are not from us. If you receive a call like this, hang up, do not provide them with any form of payment or information. Report the call at oig.ssa.gov.
Are you or your loved ones facing a serious legal battle? The law office of Paul Harris wants you to know you aren't alone. Do you need someone that's not afraid to go to trial and fight for your rights? Attorney Paul Harris and his team are willing to go where most firms are not. The courtroom. With a successful track record in civil litigation, criminal defense, including tax issues and healthcare fraud, Harris Law Office will fight for their clients by offering the most aggressive representation in and out of court. Call Paul Harris at Harris Law Office for a free consultation. 304-232-5300.
Now, during the Jim Robinson Ford Lincoln Toyota Pre-Owned Super Sale, select from over 80 vehicles in stock starting under $5,000. Most are local trades, many with one owner. Hurry to Jim Robinson at the Highlands, home of lifetime powertrain protection. Now, during the Jim Robinson Ford Lincoln Toyota Pre-Owned Super Sale, select from over 80 vehicles in stock starting under $5,000. Most are local trades, many with one owner. Hurry to Jim Robinson at the Highlands, home of lifetime powertrain protection.
Does your dog need groomed or walked? Are you looking for a pet sitter or dog boarding options? If so, call Dirty Paws, Wheeling's newest pet care service, providing the Ohio Valley with everyone's pet care needs. Check us out on Facebook at Dirty Paws WHG or call 304-639-7754.
Catch Biff Leonard on the Watchdog Morning Show with Howard Monroe. Weekday mornings 7 to 10 a.m. Only on the Watchdog. Live and local talk radio. Just the way you like it.
Miss a part of the show? Want to hear a segment again? Check out our podcast page at watchdognetwork.com. The Watchdog Morning Show with Howard Monroe continues.
Put some new podcasts up just last night. If you're looking for some things to listen to, you might want to check out the podcast on children's mystery books and the children's mystery book podcast that we put up. Yesterday's interview with Howard Gamble about the latest on booster shots and COVID numbers and all that sort of stuff. We've got a lot of good stuff I posted last night. So new podcasts are up on our podcast page at watchdognetwork.com. Check it at your convenience. 71 and cloudy at the Wheeling, Ohio County Airport. 70 cloudy here at my home studios in the Elm Grove section of Wheeling, and 70 at the Robinson Auto Group Studios downtown Wheeling in the heart of the Ohio Valley. I guess, Zach Petty, the word of the day, however, is going to continue to be wet, right?
Wet, dreary. As I was talking to Brother Biff, the phrase "save it for a rainy day" applies for almost all of the week, all of this work week, literally.
We're going to see some rain, maybe some storms this morning, and then more this afternoon. So it's going to be not necessarily continuous, but it's going to be all throughout the day, on and off. Is that right?
Yeah, on and off throughout the day. Very slow-moving, misty conditions over into the Guernsey, Noble County area. I do expect that to continue to meander, if not gimp its way into the northern panhandle. Very, very slow-moving light rain showers, even down towards Tyler, Wetzel County as of right now. And just not so much the what's the best way to say this without making it sound bad? It's one of those rains where you would rather just have it be a full gully washer and be done with it, but it's one of those misty, annoying rains, I think, is the best way to describe it. Even though I'll still say we do need the rain, but we're close to being on par for average for rainfall, at least at the Wheeling, Ohio County Airport. So we need a little bit more. I do expect us to get above average rainfall as we head into tomorrow and Thursday. So then we can shut the water spouts off and be done for at least a couple of weeks, especially since it's been, feels like forever since the last time we had sunshine in the Ohio Valley.
It's the temperature's not going to be nearly as bad as we had last week. Those miserable 90s that we had last week. Temperature's not so bad, but it will stay muggy today too, right?
Oh yeah, dew point temperatures will be staying in that oppressively muggy category, if not downright uncomfortable. And I do expect the mugginess to actually get worse as we head into Wednesday, ahead of the remnants of Tropical Storm Fred. That's expected to roll through and give us a decent bit of rain. I'm expecting to see an additional 1 to 2 inches of rain for us here locally, if not a bit more as you head farther west, maybe by Zanesville, by I-77. They could see anywhere from 2 to 4 inches of rain till tomorrow evening. So a decent bit of rain coming in with a lot of that moisture. That also means the tropical mugginess is on its way back as well. So it won't be as bad, I agree. Temperatures will be staying in the mid to upper 70s today, tomorrow, even into Thursday. But it'll stay darn right muggy as well as just darn right dreary, downright dreary with just cloudy skies, miserable conditions, rainy conditions. Stay at home, read a book, take a nap kind of weather.
And watching Spencer Atkins on the 5:30 newscast that you guys have, and looking at some of the reports on our own Metro News website, it looks like you can't escape it no matter where you go in West Virginia. This is a fairly large pattern of rain and storms we're looking at over the next several days throughout the whole state, right?
Right, yeah. I think Governor Justice even issued a state proclamation issuing all 55 counties in West Virginia to have somewhat of a, not the state of emergency, but the state of preparedness to, hey, we could see a decent bit of rain, and yes, we are expected, like I said, 1 to 2 inches for the northern panhandle, maybe even over into southeastern Ohio, a bit heavier as you head closer to Zanesville and I-77. For what we're seeing right now, there's still a little bit of wiggle room. We still have a high-pressure system actually off into the ocean that could influence the center of low pressure that actually could bring more heavy bands of rain into our region of the northern panhandle. But again, we are still noticing the trend of increasing chances for rain. So something that we're going to have to continue to keep an eye on, with the potential for flash flooding, if not streak, or I keep putting streams and creeks together and been calling them streaks, which actually doesn't sound too bad now that I say it out loud.
I like that. Yeah, stream flooding.
Streams and creeks could make its way over their embankment. So something, of course, we'll continue to monitor here in the Storm Tracker 7 Weather Lab for everyone in the Ohio Valley.
You answered my question a minute or two ago, but I was going to ask it, so let me repeat it anyways. How much of this, or how much that's coming, is the blow off from Fred?
Yeah, almost all of it, especially not so much what we're seeing right now, at least for today.
But as we head deeper into the evening hours, early morning tomorrow, that's when it'll actually almost all be the remnants of Tropical Storm Fred. And a decent bit of rain, decent bit of mugginess. We're not going to see a whole lot of fluctuation with temperatures just because cloud coverage is so prominent. So you're not really going to see anything heating up just because the sun can't really escape the prominent cloud decks that are in the low to mid and upper levels of the atmosphere. But a decent bit of rain is coming from this system. Not the direct impact like areas of the coast of Florida on the Gulf side. They got hammered. I think I was seeing reports upwards of 12, 13 inches of rain. And this wasn't even a hurricane. This was a tropical storm. It didn't even reach hurricane status, even though anything to mess with from the tropics is nothing to scoff at. But definitely could have been a lot worse. We'll put it that way.
Well, as we look out 7 days here, do we see any respite from the rain? Do we see sunshine coming back at all at any point over the next 7 days?
Well,
I take that as a no.
No, not really. I think that there could be a drying trend as we head into Saturday and Sunday. I'm still going to keep the chance for rain showers for now, but we could start to see maybe a little less rain Saturday, Sunday, Monday, but I still think there will be periods of those 3 days that we do see rain. Unfortunately, I don't really have much of good news. However, this is, again, I've been here, today's August 17th. I've been here close to 14 months, a year and 2 months on August, from June 15th to 2020. So about 14 months. And this has definitely been probably one of the saddest 7 days that I've had to talk about, just with almost every day being a kerstunk day. Daily chances for rain, gray skies, no real threat or no real chance for sun, and no happiness to come because it's going to be muggy and miserable. Temperatures are going to be seasonable, but you don't have the opportunity to be outside and enjoy it, you know?
As I said yesterday, the sad thing is for a lot of students, today even maybe their last day, but this week is the last week for a lot of kids before they go back to school. And you kind of would hope that they'd have one last romp in the sun, but no such luck as that before they go back to school.
Right, yeah. I mean, I might hold out a little bit of hope for Saturday and Sunday. Maybe Friday I'll be able to deliver a bit more good news, but it's not trending the right way. And you know me, I'm a trend guy. I like to find those patterns and ride with them just because it's what I was taught in school. You find the trend, and if you believe in it and the models are being funky and other things, you ride the trend. And maybe I'll have something better on Saturday and Sunday, but as of now, I'm not seeing a whole lot of that bright yellow orb. But I promise everyone, it's still there. It's still there, Howard. Even though sunrise was at 6:36, that bright yellow orb did click on then, even if it was dark outside, and it's still dark out right now.
So Brother Biff has no need to really polish his golf clubs for Thursday, is what you're saying, right?
I'm not liking the odds, but he likes to not so much flirt with fire, but he embraces the elements. He hasn't. I'm pretty sure he doesn't have any problem golfing in the rain, just as long as it's not monsooning and what was the other one? Monsooning or tornadoing. I think he bears the brunt of the rain.
Yeah, as long as there's no storms Thursday, if it's like this, we'll go. As long as the course is open, we'll go out. I mean, that ain't gonna deter us from going Thursday. At least going to see if the course is open, and if the course isn't open, we'll go find a place that is open and go play.
And if nothing is open, you just go eat.
We'll go to Generations and have dinner. That's it. That's all. So, yeah, I mean, there's a plan in place for Thursday.
All right.
As long as it ends in food, then I think it's a good plan.
I'm with you, Zach. As long as the ultimate end of the evening brings food about, whatever happens along the way is okay. All right, sir. Appreciate your time. We'll do it again tomorrow. I guess it'll be rinse and repeat then, but I don't know. Maybe if you can go up and big blow on the wind or on the roof of the TV7. I don't know. I guess it'll just be more of the same. Never mind. Just be more of the same tomorrow. But we'll talk to you then.
Yeah, sounds good. Take it easy, guys. I wish I had better news to deliver, but I'm just the messenger.
I got you. All right. Thanks, Zach. I appreciate it. Zach Saber, the Big Seven, the morning meteorologist here from WTRF TV. On the Watchdog Morning Show, 7 before the hour. So you've got golf to look like in the rain, Biff, and I guess that might mean our first football game could be in the rain this weekend too, right?
Yeah, it could. On actually, they start Thursday, but our first game will be Friday night, the Martins Ferry and Shady Side, and then the following week is when West Virginia gets in on the action, and we will have Wheeling Central and John Marshall on the 27th. But this week on Friday, it's Martins Ferry and Shady Side.
So be prepared for possibly a rain delay. One never knows, given the way the rain's going to be going this week. But Jerry and the gang will have the Friday afternoon walkthrough for you. Cleverly enough, that'll probably be Friday afternoon, right?
Yeah, that will be Friday afternoon, yes.
Friday afternoon walkthrough, and then off to the game. First game of the season, as you point out, the first game of the season actually is on Thursday night here in the area, but our first broadcast game Friday. So looking forward to the return of football to the Ohio Valley and to our airwaves. 6 before the hour. Do we have a break or not?
No, we are good.
Off the text line, 304-214-1600, 304-214-1600, talking about Afghanistan. Howard, Leon Panetta criticized your president for abandoning Americans and U.S. friends in Afghanistan. Elections have consequences. First place, I hate when somebody says that. Your president. I got news for you, whoever wrote this. He's your president, too. You may not have voted for him, but he's your president. Just like I was saddled with Donald Trump, you're saddled with this guy. I remember years ago telling Lieutenant Colonel Oliver North. You remember Oliver North, the Iran-Contra fame? I was on a panel with Oliver North in D.C., and he looked at me and said, your president, meaning Clinton, your president did such and such. I said, Lieutenant Colonel, I think, given that you're in the military, he's your president too. So first of all, it's not my president, it's all of our presidents. And yes, Leon Panetta and many, many, many Democrats are criticizing Biden for abandoning Americans and U.S. friends in Afghanistan. And it's a horrible thing, but at some point we've got, maybe yesterday or whenever we first, maybe this week wasn't the right week, but at some point it was necessary. We can't just keep dragging this out for 20 plus years, another 20 years. 20 years from now, we'd probably be in the same position. Whoever's president 20 years from now, maybe Chelsea Clinton, whoever's president 20 years from now will be doing the same thing. Would have been saying, we've got to get out of Afghanistan. So, yes, elections have consequences. And by the way, one of the things that President Biden ran on, that Joe Biden ran on, speaking of elections, he ran on getting us out of Afghanistan. The American public is tired of it. Now, that's not necessarily a reason to end the military incursion. I don't say that you run the military by polls, but the truth of the matter is the American people are just tired of it. Now, if you read a lot of the coverage of the pullout from Afghanistan right now, you're seeing a lot of folks, many people who have direct involvement in Afghanistan. Again, Mac Warner was on with Hoppy yesterday. He had been in Afghanistan. Ryan Weld was on the Big Seven talking about it last night, and they have direct involvement, and they feel that, we're leaving our men behind, and what did we, not that we're leaving behind, but what did we fight for? And that's a great question. But you're also seeing a lot of news stories for sort of average people going, it's terrible, terrible. What was the purpose of all of this? And I think when we get past the frustration, the anger, the disappointment, and horror of what's happening in Afghanistan as the Taliban takes over, we need to go back and revisit that question. What was the purpose of all of this? Not to pull out this week, but there for 20 years. What was the purpose of it? Get bin Laden, purpose number one. We got him. Why did we keep on going? Now, George H.W. Bush, of course, was criticized way back when in the first Gulf War, when after securing the territory, he then did not go into Iraq and free Iraq, and we ended up having to go back and do it later, which I didn't agree with. But the mission, what's the purpose of your mission? I think the purpose of I don't know that it was stated, I think the purpose of the mission in Afghanistan was to get bin Laden and to prevent another 9/11. Bin Laden is gone. The Al-Qaeda group is less in control in Afghanistan. Taliban is, but not Al-Qaeda. And at some point, he's going to say, we can't be the policeman of the world. We can't. It's not going to be pretty for some folks in Afghanistan. Although the Taliban is saying they're going to be a little more open to allowing women to be more involved in society as opposed to what they had been prior to the U.S. involvement. But it's not going to be pretty. But it hasn't been pretty for the last 20 years, what's happened to us, $1 trillion and so many lives lost. All right, 8 o'clock here on the Watchdog Morning Show. More on Afghanistan from ABC. And then Tom Scudieri and I will continue this conversation about Afghanistan coming up here on the Watchdog Morning Show.
The Watchdog is FM 98.1, AM 1600 WKKX Wheeling, FM 97.7, AM 1370 WVLY Moundsville.
The ABC News is brought to you by Thomas Auto Centers, Mall Road, St. Clairsville. Get the best deal at Thomas Auto Centers.
Preston, as